Hey everyone, this is Ian from MatchPal. I'm going to be walking you through the changes to the ERAS publication section, which is now called the scholarly work section. There's a lot of things that are different, some things that are the same. We're going to talk about what changed, why the AAMC felt it was necessary to make these changes, and then how can you as an applicant adapt and best show your research productivity on ERAS. So this is going to be using a lot of slides from the AAMC's recent presentation. Feel free to check that out as well. But let's get right into it. So what changes are being made? The ERAS publication section is now going to be called the scholarly work section. You will have the ability to preview your entries as the program will see them, or the program view feature. You're going to be submitting conference presentations like oral presentations and poster presentations, as well as similarly abstracts, journal articles, manuscripts, things like that. Some of the bigger changes come in the fact that you're going to be designating 3 most meaningful scholarly works or research projects, okay? So whereas before you might just list tons and tons of research projects, the program has to sift through them. Now you're saying, these are the 3 that I really want you to focus on. These were the 3 most meaningful to me. You're going to also group your different research productivity into scholarly concentrations. So what does this mean? Previously, let's say you did a urology research project and you went to a conference, presented your work there, and you had a poster presentation. Then your abstract from that conference was published in the kind of supplement to the journal. And then you published a manuscript related to that. That previously was 3 different research items. Now this is all going to be grouped under one scholarly collection to allow programs to see kind of what you're really doing, what your productivity is really looking like, okay? Your names are also going to be bolded in the citation. It's going to help the program see were you a first author, were you a subsequent or middle author, things of that nature, okay? And these are the benefits the AAMC listed, right? Okay, so maybe for applicants, you can be more clear and consistent. You can build your personal narrative with these scholarly concentrations. You don't have to feel like you're being unethical for how you list it. For programs, obviously, it's just making it a lot easier to sort through this stuff. The real thing that this is preempting is what I would call the research arms race in residency applications. So the average USDO applicant was going to be putting down 2.4 research experiences and 4.3 research items like abstracts, posters, or pubs. But in research intensive specialties, way higher. The numbers were higher for MDs, 3.7 research experiences and 10 research items. But you see here, someone applying neurosurgery, whether they're matched or unmatched, they're doing 37 research items. How many of those are genuine, legit research papers that are moving the field of neurosurgery forward? I would argue probably a very small number of those, right? Do we really need to pad our stats, be deceptive, or play the research game when really we're supposed to be focused on learning, exploring the field, things like that? So this is probably a positive in that sense, right? Let's kind of go through a little bit more of the logistics. So what are you going to have in here? You're going to have journal articles, book chapters, and journal abstracts, which are peer-reviewed items. This is very similar to before. And then oral and poster presentations. I would say the main difference is how you're going to be grouping these into the scholarly concentrations. This is kind of just the view that you have for your presentations, whether they're oral or poster presentations. This is what it will look like. You can designate it as most meaningful. This is a good opportunity to kind of point out this new tagging system. You can tag it as most meaningful. It's an oral presentation. You are a first author. It's part of your scholarly collection A. The program can actually use all these filters and tags to get your research items with a little bit more clarity. So they might say, I only want to look at most meaningful research items on this applicant. I only want to look at publications or presentations or things that were first author. It's going to allow them to do that, or just to view kind of everything from one scholarly concentration all at the same time. Yep, this is what it's going to look like when you designate your most meaningful research projects. Take a look at that. Notice the preview as program feature up here, right here. So that's going to allow you to look at these research items through the program lens, okay? This is how you would create your scholarly collection and how you would name it. These are the different scholarly concentration groupings when you create them. These are some of the filters we were talking about. You can filter by date, type, collection, most meaningful, and first author. And this is what the program view would look like, right? Similar, you're getting a list of these research items, but hopefully this organization is going to make things a little bit easier to view. The programs are also going to have the ability to kind of go right to the event, meeting, view the poster if you put that information in there. So that's very helpful for them as well. Okay, again, this is the tagging system we were talking about, useful for the program. Key dates. Okay, so when is this happening? This is going to be for the 2027 My ERAS cycle. All right, so people who are currently M3s going to become M4s starting in 2026 and applying for the 2027 match. So if you're currently in your third year of medical school and you're going to be applying next cycle, this is going to be impacting you for the 2027 My ERAS cycle, okay? And so the question you're probably asking yourself is, how does this affect you? You're going to be applying to residency. You want to know, how can you leverage these changes to display your research output in the most productive way, stand out to program directors, stand out to residency programs? I mean, I think this gives you a fantastic opportunity. It's giving you kind of the keys to decide which research items do I want to be asked about in the interview. Think about the narrative you're trying to craft. Are you someone who's applying very academic heavy? You want to show essentially your research skills, how you really contributed to big research projects and move them along. Are you trying to craft a narrative about how your interest in different specialties kind of developed over time and you ultimately landed on the specialty that you're applying? Are you someone who just knew you wanted to do a particular specialty the whole time, and you're just kind of showing that you have had that interest, that longitudinal engagement, you know you want to do this, and that's why you should be picked for this residency spot? Think about what you're trying to show. Think about what you want to be asked about in the interview, and then designate those as your most meaningful projects. I don't think that these scholarly collections can really harm you as an applicant. Everyone's going to be on the same playing field, and it's just going to make it more clear that you can list multiple items for a single project. You just have to be really clear with how you label them, and now the program is going to be able to see that this is indeed from one project. You didn't get these abstracts, posters, and publications from 3 different research projects. It's from the same kind of research family, right? So I think really just focus on, what do you want to be asked about in the interview? What narrative are you trying to paint? And how are you going to do that most effectively with these changes? So overall, those would be my tips. If you think you'd like to chat this through with a resident advisor from the Matchfile team, click the link in the description below. But otherwise, whether you're just getting involved in research in medical school, you're getting ready to apply, good luck, you got this.